This might be controversial, but print on demand is not a good option to start your clothing brand with, especially if you are going for a more high-end luxury type of brand. I know it sounds good because you don't have to put any money up and don't need inventory to start selling, but there are a lot of drawbacks to using print on demand. First things first, marketing. You have to market the product to get traffic to your website. No traffic equals no sales. No sales equals no money. No money equals no business. Yes, you can market it with the mock-up, but people like to see the clothes in person and on body. So a mock-up is not going to cut it, especially if you are portraying your brand as a luxury brand and have high prices. No one's going to spend X amount of dollars on a product that they can't even see a flat lay of it on the ground. The solution would be to order a sample, right? That fixes that issue. But if you are going to spend money on a sample anyway, why not get a manufacturer to do it instead? One might argue that it might be cheaper to get a sample through print on demand. That's true, but most options on print on demand don't even have the option of a customizable tag, so you can't brand your items. A knock to your creativity right there. But one person might say, oh, but I won't have the whole inventory. This is true, but also it's true with working with a manufacturer. You could run the pre-order method until you are comfortable doing pre-made. The customization of the printed style will be very limited as well to just a direct-to-garment or all-over print or print sublimation, which is another knock to the creativity. You are limited to the amount of room you can put a graphic on, so that's another hit to the creativity. You can't customize the garment itself, like maybe you want to put some distressing on the hem or distressing on the hood or a double layer. You can't do that. You would have to just pick a blank, and most of the blanks are just regular hoodies. Some are heavier than others, but you can't really customize it all the way. You would just have to pick a blank, just like most brands, which you want to stand out. Because there's so many people starting clothing brands, you want to stand out as much as possible. You can't make mohair sweaters, leather jackets, Sherpas, etc. None of these options are on print on demand. So that's another knock to the creativity. Another issue is shipping. You won't be able to customize your packaging, which is another way to stand out from other clothing brands and another creativity block. When you're using print on demand, you can't be as creative as you want to. You can't be as creative as you can. You can't dig into that imagination. You can't do just whatever. You just can't have no limits on your creativity. You have limits on there from the start. When designing your clothing brand, I think it's essential to be able to have the freedom to make whatever you want and be able to really dig into your imagination and have no limit on what you can do. The clothes come out better this way. What makes art great is the personal.
What makes it great is the personal.
Yeah.
With all of its imperfections, with all of its quirkiness, that's what makes it great. How you see the world, that's different from how everyone else sees the world. That's why you're an artist. That's your purpose in sharing your work with the world.
And that seems to be the case with everything. With literature, it's definitely the case with stand-up comedy.
Everything.
We experience that in stand-up comedy where there's these kind of derivative voices where they're kind of like finding what they think other people want to hear, and they start saying it because they've heard other people say similar things that are now successful.
And even if they have some sort of a short-term success doing that, it's not revolutionary. It doesn't change the world. It doesn't last. It can be a momentary thing, but it's never the thing. It's the people who you first see and you might not like that you come to like because you don't understand them at first. Those are the ones that change the world.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you dedicate your fandom to for life. You can't second guess your own taste for what someone else is going to like. It won't be good.
Right.
We're not smart enough to know what someone else is going to like. To make something. Well, I don't really like it, but I think this group of people like it. It's a bad way to play the game of music or art. You have to do what's personal to you. Take it as far as you could go. Really push the boundaries, and people will resonate with it if they're supposed to resonate with it.
If you want to make flare sweats or flare jeans, you can't do that. You only have a limited option. And with the jeans, you have a limited place you can put it, limited options. You can just put it on the back pocket and just probably like in the left area of like close to the thigh. But you're limited on your options. You never want to have your creativity limited, because I assume if you're starting a clothing brand that you're a creative and you like being creative and you want to be a creative and you want to have a creative job. You don't want to just, it's still creative at the end of the day because you're making something, but you're limited on that, especially if you want to do a streetwear or loungewear or activewear, you really want to have that manufactured, because print on demand is so much limits to it that it doesn't make it worth it. I think one of the best things about having a clothing brand is the creativity aspect and the imagination aspect. I can do whatever I want. Of course, it has limits. It's always a limit to stuff. Like, you just can't, do some things. But most things you can do in the capacity. But I want you to go into it without having no limitations. I want you to go into it thinking that any rules you saw before, any rules, throw the rule book out, get to designing good products. And it doesn't have to mean you have the craziest graphics. It could be something as simple as just customizing the garment a certain way. Maybe I want the stressing on the pocket hem. Maybe I want the stressing at the bottom of the jeans. Maybe I want to have no belt loops on the jeans. Anything. Even though most jeans have belt loops, but it's all about that creativity aspect. Print on demand is for more fast fashion type of brands. They just fast fashion, like Halloween shirts and Christmas shirts, stuff like that. Or, it's really not a brand, like a clothing brand, a luxury clothing brand. That's not what a luxury clothing brand does. Unless you can find a print on demand manufacturer that you can customize it more. Maybe they'll let you do screen print, or maybe they'll be able to customize stuff for you. But Printful and Printify, those things have major limitations on them. Overall, print on demand, in my opinion, isn't the best option to start a clothing brand. Make the investment and find a manufacturer on Alibaba and buy a sample. If money is your biggest issue with this, then just get a job. One check should be more than enough to buy a good sample. Don't be cheap with your business. You are serious about your brand, right? So don't cut corners to save a few bucks. Let's say you save $50 on a sample, right? What does that $50 really mean in the long run? Is it going to put you in a detriment to spend $50 more? If so, you shouldn't be buying a sample of any kind or any amount until you get yourself out of this situation. Having a clothing brand isn't free or cheap or $0 like people say online. People say things like this just to get you to click on their videos. It's clickbait. Matter of fact, it's a lie. You don't want a scarcity mindset. You want an abundance mindset. I don't mean just throw money away, but money has to be spent to make it. I'm going to make a video on the real cost of starting a clothing brand soon to break down how much you really need to start this and be serious about it. Comment down below if you want to see this video. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I release a video. Also, go follow my clothing brand on Instagram. Let's hit 2K followers. I really appreciate it.